Good evening, dear friends. So today back again, we are to discuss here, are Hindus under existential threat? Yes, such a serious topic, and I'm coming to you with a smile. But then I think that's what Hinduism stands for. All of us have always been through threats, and that has not put down our spirits, right? And that is why perhaps Sanatan Dharma survived, and of all of us have, because we believe we have an ultimate faith in the divine, we have a faith in ourselves, and we know that the implicit and the explicit, the truth of what Sanatan Dharma is something that will pervade whatever happens in the universe.
Right.
Only thing is, we need to be united, and we need to understand the principles of the Dharma and understand what is happening around us so that we stand together against it. So today with me again is Vibhuti Jha. You all know him very well. You know that he came to the US in 1991, and he came for in a leadership role with the American Express Bank. And when he came there, he realized that he had to face a lot of questions about Indian culture, tradition, why people do what they do. And he felt that our tradition is so good, and there is so much deep and meaningful knowledge there, that this is the right opportunity to carry it to the larger population around the world. And he helped in building a very positive narrative about Sanatan Dharma in the United States. So, welcome, Vibhuti
Hey,
to this discussion today.
thank you,
We
Girija ji, for welcoming me so warmly as always. And let's let the show begin.
Yes. So last time also we had discussed the same topic. We discussed about how the through generations Sanatan Dharma has been facing assault. Today we will rather focus on what is happening to the Dharma today. Why is it that Hinduism is under threat? Why this discussion today? What is happening around the world? What is the need for us to become so aware about it? That is what we are going to discuss today.
Of
So I
course,
request
of
you to
course.
throw light on this.
It is important for more reasons than one. If some of the viewers are watching it again, remember, we need to convey the message seriously again and again. It's important. There are some people who are watching it for the first time. But the realization that I had and why this needs to be talked about is the fact that you suddenly have an epiphany that you seem to be under attack on every single thing that you and I stand for. And because we are, to say, the lonely tribe, so to say, a lonely tribe, the Hindus, the Indians are a lonely tribe in the world which is dominated by Islam and Christianity,
Abrahamic religions.
Abrahamic religions. We stand out as the lonely guys. We are not even recognized as religion. And we ourselves call it Hinduism is a way of life. It's something that you have said, Sanatan Dharma is a way of life. So, what is important here is to convey the message. Why are we under attack? And the reason is very simple. And I wanted to say two things. One is the realization came about 5 years ago, or even longer than that, when a friend of mine wrote an article and he talked about Bhutto's 1,000-year war with India has another 950 years to go. And I wrote back to him saying that Islam won its first 1,000-year war. Think about India, Bharat as we knew it, doesn't exist. Even Indians don't want to call India Bharat anymore. So where did the name India come from? Our very basic tenets of our existence. There was no India when the time of Bharat, right? In Mahabharat time, in Ramayana time, until the invasions happened, there was Bharat always. It was called Bharatvarsh. Even today we talk about Akhand Bharat. So what happened to Bharat? The first 1,000 year of Islamic invasion, we know that two Islamic republics were created, Bangladesh and Pakistan, right?
Yeah.
So the entire narrative, the story of Mahabharat, Gandhar Naresh, Gandhari, is gone to Kandhar. So think about it like this: we have lost our territories to the group of people who are totally anemic and antithetical to us.
Absolutely.
That's what is important. So, what is the guarantee that tomorrow 130 million Muslims or somebody, I'm not saying all, let me be very clear, I'm not saying
Absolutely.
all.
Few of them or many of them. Yeah.
You know that
Not
there's
all.
a theory that says that extremes drive the middle. Some fringe element begins a movement that we want free. Like if you notice, there are conditions created for that, and the cacophony of sound reverberates then. So think for a moment that when CAA was brought about for one group of people, and that was the minorities in three countries, in Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. This is what the thing is all about. We may have been resilient and fought back and survived, but we are going to become homeless within our own home. That's what is important to bear in mind. That tomorrow, to fulfill the democratic aspiration of a particular group of people, if they say we create Osman India, or Junagadh is a separate India, we don't want to live. But remember this incident
Yeah.
about CAA, Kashmir. It was all
Absolutely.
termed as if it was against Muslims by India. The Hindu India did it against Muslims. In reality, it was to protect the minority rights of actual minorities in these three countries.
Absolutely.
This is what is important. And then there was a sudden that Muslims are being, victimized in India under Hindu rule. That's the important part. Tomorrow, if supposing, this is an example which I'll share with you, happened in a conversation in America when I was told by a U.S. congressman, why don't you give, Kashmir to Pakistan to Muslims and give Khalistan to Punjab to Khalistanis? You will be at peace. And my answer to him was that, look, these are internal squabbles,
Right.
internal disputes. If tomorrow all the blacks in America, for the victimization that they are suffering from and they are claiming, if they go to Montana and South Dakota and declare those as separate black country, would you let it happen? No. He said no. I said, if tomorrow Hawaii declares independence, what if Alaska declares independence? As it is, you have Texas and California talking about that we did dislike being ruled by Washington. Are you going to let it happen? No.
I didn't know
That's
that.
exactly the point. The point which I'm trying to make to us Indians is that we can't be complacent because the
Absolutely.
enemy interest is working in a different way. When the USSR collapsed, Yugoslavia ceased to exist, Czechoslovakia ceased to exist, you had many Muslim countries born.
Yeah.
So you have to think about it, not through the eyes of a complacency, hamara kuch nahi hoga. We have survived thousands of years. Yes, we did, but we lost three principal lands of what is known as Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. What is the guarantee tomorrow what is happening in West Bengal? That tomorrow Mamata Banerjee joins hands with Sheikh Hasina and says a greater Bengal. What if tomorrow Punjab says we want to have a greater Punjab country of
Here there is a
exactly.
remark.
Yeah.
Here, did you see? There is a remark from Nipun Saini. She says, no threat. I can't say about other Hindus, but Punjabi Hindus has no threat. We are resilient from Ghazni to Khalistanis.
No, this is what I say, Nipun. Your observation is very confident, and I
Yeah.
applaud that. But you are probably not looking at it from the perspective that we Punjabi Hindus were the victims of separation and killings when India was divided between Pakistan and India.
Exactly.
And that's the time you must know how many Punjabi Hindus were killed in the transfer of people that happened. Why there are no Punjabi Hindus in Punjab of the western side? Think about it from this point of view. Think bigger. Think geopolitical. And this is a classic example that besets every Hindu mind. हमारा कुछ नहीं होगा, हम survive कर जाएंगे.
Yeah.
That is what is important to know, that why are Hindus under attack? We are not disturbing anybody's peace, right? There is
Exactly.
no current story where Hindus are causing violence and killing people. Nowhere. But why are we under attack? Think about in the
I
United States. Think about
I
it.
heard a video clipping when you were talking about somebody telling you
Hmm.
that why don't you give away this part or that part because you get vexed about the way you're being troubled. No, every day you're being attacked, every day you are under threat. There are so many terrorism attacks. So I heard a conversation with a journalist where Jawaharlal Nehru says that it was the British who started the Muslim League, and then it continued. Mahatma Gandhi never liked it, but it came to a point when the violence was so much and they thought, okay, just to get away with the nonsense of the trouble, they just decided to agree to the partition. So now you give away Pakistan, tomorrow you will give away Kashmir, and then they will say give me part of Punjab, and then they will ask for Gujarat. It is never going to end.
It's never going to end.
It's never going to
You,
end.
you said it so beautifully. Thank you. You said it so beautifully. That's the point which I'm trying to drive people towards.
Yeah,
That you have to begin to think about it in a
yeah,
serious way. And you have to begin to create a response.
right.
That's what is important to know, that you begin to. The question is very simple. Why is it happening? Look at America, for example. In America,
Hmm.
Indians, and here I will make a broad categorization, I won't say Hindu, I say
Hmm.
Indians
In India,
are
yeah.
one of the most prosperous immigrant community. We are least
Very
problem from the
respected
law and
too.
order perspective. No problem to anybody. We cause no problem.
Correct.
Absolutely not. Indians are occupying good positions in prominent companies, big companies. Everyone is very successful. Yet we are under attack.
Exactly.
Yet Audrey Trushke from Rutgers University is on a tirade against Hindus. She calls our God Ram as rapist and misogynist. Do we keep quiet? Or let Ram reply to this? It's not none of my business. It affects everybody. And this is very important is to bear in mind. This is very important to bear in mind that we have been attacked on very various things because the enemy nudges you at places that you are vulnerable.
Exactly.
And that's what is important for us to become united. Now, people say, oh, Hindus don't have unity. I always say that unity is not a product that is
Hmm.
sitting on a shelf in the factory or on a shop floor or in the cupboard, that you go and wear the unity kavach or unity garb and then you are united. Unity is a concept. It
Yeah,
is,
uniformity is not unity. We may
yeah,
not be uniform, but
yeah,
yes, we are united.
yes, we have to unite. So
Yes,
you look at it
yes,
this way, Hindus were getting attacked in the US behind the symbol of swastika.
yeah,
But every Hindu united behind that. Then there was
exactly.
attack on CAA. Many Hindus united against that. Every Hindu wanted the unity or purpose of Kashmir to be maintained with the country. That's what
Right,
is important. Unity has to be communicated and established behind a purpose. That's what is
right.
important for us to know. It is it is really, really frivolous on our part to think, I am happy here, let me not bother about it.
Yeah.
This is
The
the attitude, complacency that has set in us. And we need
correct, because we close
to.
our eyes to the problem and we
Yes,
think, okay, the problem does not exist.
correct, right.
Absolutely.
So, for example, caste, it's a very important part. Caste is a discussion that always
Yeah.
happens. See, for example, caste is an issue in India, right? We have constitutional protection for scheduled caste, scheduled tribes. And
Right.
then it became a political football.
Right.
So much so that even Jains were admitted as a scheduled caste. Not only
Yeah.
that, even Marathas, who are a warrior proud community, they are being offered reservation. So
Yeah.
you're playing a political football of dividing the
Absolutely.
Hindu community. So you're talking about 50% reservation. think about it. The caste became an issue. It is being discussed in the US. California Students Union had a 3-hour hearing of students to talk about caste issue. Not only that, in the state of California, in Fremont, Santa Clara area, they have now passed, a committee has given the decision that caste will be provided protection under US laws, caste categorization. And why did it happen? The story goes, it was the Infosys case in which a person who got fired was supposedly, from the Indian point of view, belonging to the category of lower caste, and the boss was of upper caste. So he made it as a caste issue. My boss has fired me because I'm a low caste guy. And that became an issue, although it was proven to be wrong. But
so now when they say that they are going to protect caste, what does it mean? Are they going to do some reservation there also?
yes, they want to include them in
That
school
is so
admission,
sad.
in the school admission, in college admission, in jobs.
That's going to more divide the community. We are thinking that we should remove it from India. It's high time.
Correct.
Actually, if you see in many parts of the country, people who were once upon a time considered the downtrodden, now they are in very rich societies. Like if you see a Brahmin,
Correct.
how many Brahmins are well-to-do?
Correct.
Those who are in the temple priests, many of them are literally languishing in poverty.
Right.
They don't have money to educate the children. Just because the children are very hardworking, they work day and night, they somehow manage to reach college. That because
Right.
that is their family value, education. Not because they can afford it. Whereas there are people who get very good reservations, and even though they can afford fees, they may have 2-3 flats, they may come by car, they may come in a motorbike which will costier than a car.
Right.
And even then they will avail of all this reservation and fee waivers, everything. So they don't even pay attention to studies. Mediocre quality of turnout, and those people are also given employment again.
Correct.
Right? So what are we encouraging? You give them an opportunity to study. You have given them the opportunity for 70 years. So that is enough. How many generations have happened? Even then, for the sake of politics, for vote politics, it has continued in India. And I'm really sad to hear that even US is thinking of considering that. I saw a video wherein there was a study wherein they showed that people who are doing most of the cleaning jobs in the United States, they happen to be from the colored community. So they may not have distinguished a caste system, but it is happening there.
You see, this is a very important conversation, very important conversation about caste, and we need to be careful about it. Need to be careful and aggressive about it. So I'll tell you what I tell people. When people, an American origin people ask me, you have a serious caste problem. So I say, yes, I have. We have, right? But it's not our creation.
Yeah.
The caste problem that exists in India is a thing that started with a good intention and became evil. The practice of it became evil. Now, the point here is something very simple. I told them, our caste system is perhaps as bad as your racism problem. Are you doing something about it? Yes, we are doing something about it. So I said, we are also doing something about it. This is what is important to remember, is that we have to be proactive in contesting certain arguments and statements. So I told them the caste is nothing else but a division of labor.
Yes.
It is a division of labor. You do what you are good at. That is what Mr. Ricardo talked about in economic theory, that you are most efficient about doing something that you are good at. So, is it mandatory that doctor's son becomes a doctor? No. Is it mandatory that the politician's son becomes a politician? But what happens is that that's where the implementation goes wrong. Classic example, Amitabh Bachchan and Abhishek Bachchan. Abhishek Bachchan may be a good actor, but he suffers from the comparison with his father. He does suffer from the comparison with his father. because you are always taken into that comparison. So in India, the caste system became bad when people began to regiment it, that you are in this caste, you cannot do anything else. And that was particularly oppressive for people in the who were providing service sectors in Dalit community. That was bad.
Yeah, exactly. When you were talking about it, I just remembered there is always a lot of misrepresentation about caste, how it is being portrayed in our itihas. For example, it was said that, Parshuram Karna was projected himself to be a Kshatriya. So the Guru got angry with him. That is why he cursed him. No, the Guru did not curse him because when he was a Kshatriya, he pretended to be a Brahmin, but because of the pretension, not because he was
Mhm.
Kshatriya.
Right,
Because you have an opportunity, it seems they have to do some penance and they were allowed to take some years and then they could change the caste. It is not like if you are born in a particular caste, you have to live with it. You
right,
have practiced the caste, and then you are allowed to. He could have done that, taken time, and then come to Parshuram, which he did not do. So that is why he was angry. So when there is a provision for you to do the right thing, he did not do the right thing.
right.
Krishna also was called, like somebody who was from the cowherd family, and he
Correct.
was always teased about it. But he never took it as an insult. He said, "Yes, I am." Whereas Karna always took it as an insult when somebody called him that you're the son of a charioteer. So it is all about how do you identify yourself and how do you image. What is that image of that person that you carry about yourself? It is
Correct.
your own self-esteem that comes into play.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what is
So
important.
caste
Like,
system was not written in stone. It is the
no,
British who made it like that.
correct. To
Yeah.
divide the community, divide the Hindu
Yeah.
society. That's what is
Exactly.
important for us to bear in mind.
So
Like
now we have to discuss about what is the way ahead. What can we do to
the way
overcome
ahead
it?
is very simple.
Hmm.
Sometimes, as the saying goes, that solution lies within you. And the solution lies is when we have to begin to rise and contest. This is very important. Like I have said this like, repeatedly, I'll keep saying it till my life exists in my
Hmm.
body. You have
Hmm.
to arise, awaken a certain act. You have to
Absolutely.
do that. The point which I'm trying to say, if you begin to look at things from a frame of reference, Sanatan Dharma, the advancement of Sanatan Dharma and acceptance of Sanatan Dharma without us doing anything. This is the important part to bear in mind. We Hindus do nothing to promote or propagate the values of Sanatan Dharma. But what exactly is it? It is totally non discriminatory, right?
Yeah.
It
Do
doesn't
not take
make.
the effort to even know it. That
Right.
is a sad part.
That's the sad part. There is a beautiful definition of Sanatan Dharma. Is gender neutral, it's caste neutral, is race neutral. It is non-discriminatory. We are all part of nature, and that's science. What is happening
Yes.
is, what is happening, in my opinion, what is happening, and I would want viewers to think about it over the weekend, is the fact that the rise of science and technology is removing those barriers that segregated us, the barriers of fear and ignorance. Religion has its base in fear and ignorance. What you did not know. God has told me this. So I'm telling you to do this. And people said, oh, I will go to heaven if I'm doing the right things. But nobody has ever asked this question. And I'm asking this question. I'll tell you this. I'm asking every viewer here, whether it's PK, Gaurav, Nipun, Sanika, whoever, begin to ask this question of fellows around you. Hey, anybody went to heaven? Any experience of heaven? It's like going to Hawaii. I can tell you what Hawaii is like, right?
Yeah.
If I go to Alaska in winter, I'll tell you, wow, it is like hell, right? But nobody has been to hell. As the saying goes, whether to go to heaven or hell, you got to die first. And you are not going to come back to tell the experience, right? So when people, Abrahamic faith people, talk about the fact कि तुम स्वर्ग में जाओगे, नरक में जाओगे, we don't believe in this concept of swarg or not, right? We believe in the law of karma. Tomorrow will be what I do today. If I have 6 kgs of gulab jamun today, I know where I'll be spending my time tomorrow, if not instantly. So the question here is that we have to know about that element, that science and technology is causing breakdown of established religious practices because it's removing the ignorance and fear from people.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very important to know. Earth is no longer flat. Scientists were killed for saying that Earth was flat.
Yes.
We know that women are not responsible for the gender determination of a baby.
Exactly.
Right? We recognize, our Sanatan Dharma recognizes that there are individual differences. We are different from one another. That's why we have the
propounding some
concept of
scientific truths, like you said, for propounding scientific truths, people were punished,
correct.
right? For saying that the earth is flat, not flat, punishment. For Darwin's theory, nobody liked it. So everything, this is what is written in the Bible, and this is how the world was created, period.
Period.
There is no opportunity for discussion there.
Exactly. That brings me to the second issue that I want to talk about, the freedom of religion.
Absolutely.
Right? Freedom of religion, in my opinion, is a big hoax. It is relevant in terms of what you want to pray, who you want to pray, who is your inspiration, what becomes your inspiration to do something. Buddha attained nirvana under a people tree, Bodhi tree, whatever. Somebody is inspired by sitting next to the ocean at the banks of the beaches of the ocean and experience, wow, happiness. Right? Some people are happy in the mountains. Right?
But that freedom of religion is only in Sanatan Dharma, not
It
in
is
other.
only in
You have
Sanatan. You are exactly. That's the point which I'm trying to say. That's why we have the concept, and we have to share those concepts with our American friends. So when somebody asked me, I'll give you an example. Somebody asked me, why do you worship so many gods? Why do you have so many gods? And this is for everybody to bear in mind. You may agree with me, you may not agree with me. That's a different matter.
That's open.
Think about it from your perspective. So I gave the support, told them, no, we have also one God. But we know that you have not seen God. Nobody has seen God. If anybody ever claims that they have met God, that's a lie. An absolute lie. So the question arises that what is God? So God created this entire universe. This is a Sanatan Dharma principle. If you believe in creationism, that's fine. If you believe in evolution, that's fine. We are not arguing about that. We are saying that if this God is the God-given world to sustain you and I as a life, He created also life-sustaining forces.
Absolutely.
Right? He created life-sustaining forces, which means what? Sun's energy,
yes.
air,
the five
water,
elements.
Correct?
Yes.
Sun, water. This is what our body is made up of, right? Water and air. And we are determined by the energy levels that we exude in doing something, right? I'm just giving you 3 examples. So I said to them, now think about it, these 3 elements. Sun has a form, a given form when it rises and it sets. Throughout the day, it shines.
Fire, water, air, space. Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
So there is a form. So if I am inspired by this energy of the sun, and I say, wow, God gave us, so I express my gratitude to God for giving us sun that sustains us, and I pray to sun as a gratitude to God. Anything wrong in it? He said, no. I said, all right.
When sun is God, right? God. Yes.
Second, I said, water.
Absolutely.
Our 70% or 80% of our body is water. So the question arises that water replenishes our levels of bodily metabolism, right? It sustains us. Otherwise, we die of dehydration. We might live a little longer, but we will die of dehydration, right?
Absolutely.
It is nourishment. So life is created through water. And what is water?
70% of our body is water.
It assumes the shape, size of whatever it goes in.
Exactly.
Can I say?
The shape also.
Yeah, I'm worshipping God in the form of water, which means ocean, river, rain, or whatever form in the glass, and finally air, as if
Exactly.
it's invisible, has no form, no shape, nothing at all. So,
You're
can I
true.
say that I can worship to something which is not visible? So, every Hindu prays to whatever is an inspiration for him. It could be
Yeah,
Krishna, it could be
exactly.
Kali, it could be Durga, it could be anything else. So,
Or
he,
even River Ganga, right?
yeah,
You worship River Ganga, you worship Mountain Himalayas, and they are all, all aspects of nature are worshipped, right?
right, right,
Even God said certain, animals or birds along with them, and
correct,
they are also worshipped, right?
absolutely,
So you
absolutely.
have Nandi, you have Garuda, you have all these are worshipped. Why?
Right.
That is because we have a reverence for nature and we want to inculcate those values in people.
This is a
So
very,
you have got different festivals for them, you've got different days for them, all those things, right? But now people are looking at all that as superstition.
that's right,
Nobody said they have supernatural powers. We was told that they all of them create a balance in nature, right? The mouse is also required, the snake is also required. So that is why both are also respected.
that's
So
right,
if snake is for some god, the movement, the chariot on which he moves, for another god it is the rat, right? For Ganpati we say it is rat, and for Shiva carries on his neck the snake,
right,
and we worship both, and both of them are required. In if you look at the ecosystem, both of them are required.
absolutely.
If human beings did not have respect for nature, then they destroy one and then the other remains, it is going to be utter chaos in the world.
That's right. So it is
So,
very important you brought the animal thing, and that's my favorite one. I love animals. Okay, so I love
yeah,
animals. I have deep respect for animals too. Like I have said in the past, and I'm glad
yeah,
you said that.
yeah,
Every life in nature serves a purpose.
yes,
Everything serves a purpose. From rats, rodents, to to scavengers, everybody serves a purpose. So, but we humans are the most evolved kind of animal. You know, we can talk, we can do things, we can create things. They live a life, we create
yeah,
alternate energy, power, and whatever else is there. So we have the power of creationism and the language.
yeah,
But when it comes to communication, they're two different things. Language is used as a tool for communication, but
yes,
lions communicate in the same way all over the world,
yeah,
right? They have no
right,
language differences, right? We are superior, so we distinguish ourselves through linguistic experiences.
correct.
When we talk about, we demean people, say, hey, don't behave like an animal. And I always ask, which animal are you talking about? What did the animal do to you? Right?
Yes,
You
because
say,
animals never kill each other for fun.
fun. We are the
Exactly.
worst kind of people. We
We are
kill
the worst. Yes.
people for entertainment. They
For
kill
fun,
more than
we
for
fight with people. There is so much of power.
right,
Absolutely. Yeah.
right.
Just for a show of power, people do that.
And not only that, when some you tell a man that he is like a lion or a tiger, he feels very good. But you tell him that you are like an animal, he gets annoyed. Same thing with the women. Tell them that you have a doe-like eyes and you walk like a gazelle, and she's happy. But you tell her that you walk like an animal, you didn't specify the animal, and she gets angry with you, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So I have
So,
great
what
respect
kind
for
of
animals.
attributes we give for
I
the word
always,
animal?
yeah, I always say that humans need to learn the values and virtues from animals.
Absolutely.
You know, in
Live
majestic,
and let live.
yeah, live and let live. We have to.
Absolutely.
But then
Yes.
I'm not advocating vegetarianism or veganism or anything. But
Yeah.
we are superior.
Yeah.
Eat what is
Absolutely.
best for you. And in nature, that's why Sanatan Dharma doesn't say you have to be a vegetarian. This is the beauty of Sanatan
Again,
Dharma.
your choice.
There is
Yes.
no mandate, restriction, or anything, but you respect an animal for what it is.
Exactly.
This is what is important, that our value system talks about respect. Science and technology have taken away the fear and ignorance, right? We
Yes.
know now that thunder and lightning doesn't happen because gods are angry.
But
We know
Sanatan Dharma anyway doesn't depend on fear at all.
it doesn't.
We are never told that if you don't go to temple, then you will go to hell. We are never told if you don't recite Vishnu
Right,
Sahasranam in the morning, then this will happen to you. We are never told. We are told that if possible, on a Tuesday or Friday, you pray to Devi, it will give you more power as a woman.
right.
So we are told these things probably because it will create certain vibrations on certain times when you narrate certain things, because it is scientifically proven. On certain days, you're told don't do these things because your body energy is at a different level,
Correct.
right? So all these things are advised to us, but they only come in the form of suggestions. They are not mandates.
Because, that's a very important point you brought out. There are always coming in suggestions, and that's what I was telling yesterday in Jaipur Dialogue in India. We were talking about the talk about Baba Ramdev.
Yes,
He Ayurveda and allopathic.
right.
And I said, very simply put, that both are important in their own frame of reference.
Absolutely.
It is important to know that the West is completely engulfed with wellness industry. Wellness industry is a growing industry. Why? Because medication, allopathic medication,
Exactly.
treats your discomfort. It doesn't address the root cause of your problem. And
Absolutely.
you will be glad to know, and your listeners will be glad to know, that we have set up an institution in California 3 days ago for integrated study of allopathic and Ayurvedic medication.
Absolutely.
Because allopathic medicines, we define it as emergency and crisis management. It's a tool, it's a
Absolutely.
necessary tool.
Yeah.
If you are suffering from a strong diarrhea, that's not the time to talk about health and wellness. You need
Yeah.
Imodium
At
at
the
that
time,
point in
immediately,
time.
yes.
You need
Whatever is
Imodium.
needed to arrest the discomfort,
Right.
yes.
You have to do that. So if you have to have surgery, you go to the hospital. But that doesn't mean that you don't follow wellness.
You
There are
build
studies.
immunity, right? You build
There are
immunity through Ayurveda.
Right. You
Yeah.
you you are part of Ayurveda is about maintenance system. Maintenance system also means that as growing in age doesn't mean you won't be affected by certain bodily degradations that happen
Yes.
with the body, the age factor or what you consume. I mean, Girija, I'll tell you something to all the viewers. We have done some pretty interesting work in this area,
Hmm.
and you know the you see the gut feeling. You have heard the phrase the gut feeling. The gut
Yes.
feeling is all about the viruses that reside, the bacteria that
Yeah.
lives in our gut, and
Yes.
they are we eat what we become what we eat. So
Absolutely.
the bacteria determines what we eat. And there's a Harvard professor, an Indian woman, who has written a book. I'll send you the
Okay.
reference for that. It's a
Mhm.
completely changing the wellness industry. The most of the wellness industry gurus
Right.
are making her book as the
Okay.
basis of understanding, which is all connected from mind and gut is all connected.
Yes.
You become what you eat. Garbage
Absolutely.
in, garbage out.
Yes.
These are certain
Exactly.
phrases, slang phrases. This
Yeah.
is what is important to know, that what
Yes.
you eat, that's what you become. So
Yes.
it's very, very critical to understand that we become what we eat, and therefore the wellness and treating emergency, they are two different things altogether.
That is why we are told, that certain kind of food items, like you said, they cause tamas.
Right,
They create certain types of laziness. There are food that create laziness. There are food that create anger. There are food that create heat. So according to the type of body that you have and the temperament that you're like to have, because of that, you are advised to have certain food. So
right,
there is a beautiful connection there. If you
right,
have pitta, then you know that the body is bound to get heated up. So
right,
you are advised to have certain kind of food and not to avoid certain kind of food.
correct.
right?
Today,
So then,
today I wanted to, beyond food, like I'll tell you, now you have an industry here, doing so well. It's
yeah,
called Beyond Meat.
Beyond Meat. Okay,
Beyond Meat. You have in many stores now, you get the Beyond Meat sausage, beef, mutton, chicken, everything else, which tastes
wonderful.
incidentally exactly like the regular one. You have burgers which are Beyond Meat burgers. It's called Beyond Meat.
Okay,
And it fulfills your complete desire that I didn't have to kill an animal. That industry is growing big.
yeah,
That
absolutely.
industry is growing big. The stock prices of those companies have skyrocketed. The point which
I
I'm
know.
trying to make is the awareness and the knowledge that is coming to the world is opening up a different universe for you and I. I see some of the conversation going on here that somebody said about Bollywood. Yes, get aware of that.
Yeah,
When your songs are designed, when you're remember one thing, those who are trying to eliminate us, they are playing a game while we are talking about चलता है जाने दो.
yes,
जाने भी दो यारो attitude जो हम हिंदुओं में है
yeah,
needs to go. We
exactly.
have to begin to be aware. So I gave you the
Become
earlier
assertive.
example.
When something is not acceptable to you,
Yeah,
say that it is not acceptable,
yeah. So, for
right?
example, when I said to you about the freedom of religion, right? I
Yes.
asked my Muslim and Christian friends, and you should do that too. That
Mm,
is there authentic freedom of religion practiced by your faith? So, if you say freedom of religion for who?
exactly.
Essentially, it is Jews who don't care for everybody else. They are happy within themselves. Christians and Muslims are the fighting their jihad and crusade. And we are caught in the gunfire, in between the gunfire. We become the happy hunting ground. So my question to these people are, why don't you settle your dispute between who is better and who is not? Why
Yeah.
involve me? The freedom of religion is a concept because you conquered somebody. So
Yeah.
you gave them the freedom to become part of your religion at the expense of the sword, or you die. You know that. We all know that.
Right.
You coerce into doing that. I'm asking them a very civil question, that a freedom of religion is a bogus concept. And I use the strong word bogus
Okay.
because if you say Jesus is the only way, then what freedom of religion are you
Where is
really
the
talking about?
freedom?
If you are saying that Allah is supreme, good for you. I have no problem with that. If you find your solace in Jesus, good for you. Go for it. But
But
don't.
we never go and tell anybody.
That's the point which I'm trying to say, that we never leave me alone with my
Yeah.
Krishna or Rama or Garud or whatever. Leave me alone. And if you think you are going to, I'm going to go to hell if I don't accept Jesus, thank you. Let me go to hell. I'll experience my hell and come back to heaven. I will also bribe somebody to go to heaven. But nobody has seen heaven and hell. I would urge each one of you to start asking questions, make inquiries. And there's a difference between asking a question and making an inquiry. Make an inquiry. Hey, when was the last time you visited heaven? Make it sound, shock them,
Absolutely.
shock them,
Yeah. Make
shock
them think.
them. Yeah, let them
Exactly.
think. Where is
Yes.
hell? How come you are giving me passport? Am I guaranteed? Is there a flight that I can take to go to heaven? If I die here, my body dies, the soul travels at the speed of lightning, perhaps. I do not know. Begin to ask fundamental questions, basic questions. What is
Correct.
this all about? Is this required? And if you say that only because you become Muslim, then you go to hell, I said, heaven, I said, no, I'm looking for going to hell. Because I'm told that hell has a lot of fun. You know, it's a fun place. Heaven is full of vegan and celibacy, and you are pure. I don't want to be pure anymore. I want to commit sin. Let me go to heaven. Why should it bother you? You begin to engage in conversation. So, what I always tell people here, there, engage in the communities that you live in, engage
Absolutely.
with your parents teachers association,
Right.
engage, and contest, read between the lines. Past is past. I always say to people, forgive and forget. People say forgive and forget. I was told by my teacher, don't do both.
Get.
Don't do,
Forgive, but
don't
don't
do,
forget. Yeah.
do either one. Forgive, then don't forget that he did it to you or she did it to you, what they did
And
to you.
what happened? Yes.
Yes, then you will never forget that. Or
Yes.
you forget, but you forget,
Don't forget.
but don't forgive. Then you remember this also. That person or entity did something to me, you remember. That's the time when history doesn't repeat itself.
Yeah, until
Otherwise,
we learn our lessons, it keeps on happening again and again to you, right? So even there are, when people talk about the human soul,
right,
they say that we have an experience in this world,
correct,
and from this experience, if we do not learn, again we are born to learn that experience again.
correct.
So
Yes,
until we learn, we do not move on. So
true,
it is the same thing with nations, with people, with religions, with communities. If they do not learn the lesson, then again another set of people come and do the same injustice to you
correct,
because you never learned it.
correct,
How to respond to
correct,
some injustice,
right,
how to protect yourself. We have not learned that.
correct.
So when you do not know that, then somebody else will come and again attack you, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah. So
absolutely.
that is the most important element, is to be aware of what is happening around us.
True.
One. Second is not to be in denial. Okay, people cannot do that to me. People
Yes.
will never do that to me. Not to be in denial.
Oh,
Right? Yes. Yeah,
absolutely
that,
right.
yeah. And the third is not to react, but to respond.
Right.
Right? You know that people are attacking you, but then don't have a knee jerk reaction. But think about it. Why are they attacking? Why has it not happened to other people?
True.
What is it about us that makes us vulnerable or makes us the butt of ridicule or attack? What is it that, is it like people think that we have got something to plunder that they're coming and attacking us? Yes, it happened. We had so much of gold, so much of wealth that people did come to us for it. So now what do we do to protect?
Right.
Right? So it is not always necessary that people attack us because we are vulnerable. It is also because they do not have something which we have. Somewhere they are feeling insecure. So is it possible that we make people around us feel secure around us? Somewhere people feel that we are superior. Somewhere people feel that we are more of an intellectual race.
No, it is not that intellectual part. It's the truth.
Okay.
It's the
It's a
truth.
truth. It's a truth that is hurting them.
Everything that you said today, I must compliment you for remembering that very well about not react but respond, figure out why. These are important things. You say it very well. Thank you. What I'm also saying here is that you have to understand the implications of that. Not
Hmm.
everybody is so selfless. People have selfish interests. But there is something very important for us in this country. We are successful. We are done well. We are liked in the community. But you have to become aware of the surroundings that we live in. And that you do by noticing behavioral warnings. And what I call behavioral warning is that uh, the democratic rules are good for them. If you talk about it, don't talk about it. That's a very
Double
interesting
standards.
double standards, negationism that comes, denying you the privilege of having an opinion, but I'm right about myself. So if you don't agree with me, you are wrong.
Okay.
You will
Got it.
notice that happen. And
Yeah,
this
just now
happens.
that's what I was thinking. You were saying, for example, in US, the
Yeah,
Indians are the most respected community that have come to stay in the country. They contribute a lot to the national development
correct.
by they never ask for anything. They are the least troublesome. They're, they live in peace, all that. But in spite of that, why is there attack on Hinduism?
That's what I was talking about. This is what you said was this conversation I had with the senator I shared with you, right?
Ah,
This is the
yeah,
exact thing that we
exactly.
love you Indians as immigrants. You're hardworking professionals. You work well. You have highest median income. You are least problem from the law and order. and you
Yeah.
take care of your family values, you take care of your children, and you ask for nothing. That's exactly, we are respected, but we are not regarded. The current political climate in America is little tricky. Current political climate is very tricky. It's very vindictive. It's very vicious, and
Is it
that's the
also
thing which
because
I
we
was
don't
saying
assert
before.
our rights? We don't demand that, okay, we are contributing this. What is in it for me? We never ask this question.
Correct. The other part was that I was talking about behavioral things,
Huh.
is that people will tell you that you are wrong about what you are talking about. They will straightway tell you are wrong.
Okay.
They will not accept that you have a point of view. They will deny you the legitimacy of being in the opponent's side. The third one is they will encourage violence against you. It's happening all around the US right now. And then they will curtail civil liberties for you. So look at this. This I will take it in the next few minutes that we have. I wanted to address that.
Yes,
Think about
please.
the big tech, how they are contesting. They have certain constitutional protection in the US that as a platform, you are not opinion maker. So Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, you are just posting. It's a communication tool. But what's happening in India? They are now forming an opinion. They are sitting on judgment. They will take away your followers. They will take away your statement. They
Exactly.
have become the judge, jury, and the adjudicator.
Absolutely.
You know, this is what the problem with technology is. So that's where they are curtailing your civil liberties to protect civil liberties. You see the point?
In our own country. Yes,
In your own
exactly.
country.
Yeah.
This is what I'm trying to tell people, is that we are facing an existential threat because we are getting bullied.
Yes.
And there are many
From all
amongst us
fronts.
from all sides. The reason is very simple. The reason is because our way of life has greater acceptance. A lot more people are talking about being spiritual. There are many technology platforms have opened. I would urge all of you to go participate, but instead of us making a fool of ourselves, and I say this to myself, not about you, is to get to know what you are talking about. Don't say, I mean, I would of the opinion that Baba Ramdev, he could have been careful with his choice of words. Because today your words are echoing in a
Exactly.
different manner, that you almost said that doctors have died because of allopathic medicine. They may have died because of adverse
Probably he
reaction.
didn't mean it. He meant to say that build your
Exactly.
immunity through
This is
Ayurveda.
this is what I
All
want
he
to
needed
say.
to say that.
This
Exactly.
is what I want to say to people. I said this yesterday. What empirical evidence do you want when Baba Ramdev preaches that breathe well? We know what we know. I don't need to be proven. The fire, if I put my finger in my fire, the finger will burn. Do I need an empirical evidence of that?
Exactly.
Likewise, if breathing in, whether sportsmen,
Yeah, deep
music,
breaths. Yes.
you're always told breathe in, right? What
Yeah.
does breathing in does? It gets more oxygen in your body
Oxygen. Yeah.
and ejects
Your
CO.
lung capacity increases.
Yes,
Yes.
you eject
Exactly.
CO2, right? The
Yeah.
more oxygen levels you have in your body, the better off you feel, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It is the lowering of the oxygen in your body that is a telltale sign of COVID.
Exactly.
If your oximeter says you are over 95, you don't even need to go to a doctor for
Yes.
testing on Kohan.
Absolutely.
But people are doing different things. So I would say something very simple. Begin to notice when somebody tells you, I don't accept it anymore. There was a time I would say, Jane do yaar, bolta hai bolne do. Now
Yeah.
I don't. I
Yes.
always respond. So I'll end my piece today by giving you an example. And this is a real time. It's an experiential part of it when I was told by a Muslim guy, Jha Sahab, you are a very noble human being. You should embrace Islam. You should become a Muslim. So I was at my Muslim friend's house and I just laughed and I said, I can't react. I must not react. I must respond to him. And what my response was something like this: you can alter it, change it, or you can, if you are ever confronted with this situation, I said, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me to join your faith. But I have a few questions for my satisfaction. Are you suffering from want of noble people within your faith that you are inviting an outsider? He was totally taken aback. I said, I'm noble. I'm noble because of my dharti, my parents' education, the education that I received, and whatever learning I received in my life. So I'm already a noble human being. What more will you do? What will I gain by becoming a Muslim? And then I said the other thing, are you suffering from shortage? Then, conversation, to cut the story short, I told him only one thing. Look, you have eyes, ears, nose, mouth, hand, legs, they perform identical function. You do namaz going down on your knee. I do mandir mein ashta, ardha sashtang or purna sashtang. I do puja to mandir. But my God doesn't come to kill me if I just bow to him.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
the point is, this is what I want to say. You begin to question in a friendly way an inquiry. For example, an investment banker friend of mine, he was very pensive one day and he said, Vibhuti, why is Islam so badly misunderstood in this part of the world? I said, it's not misunderstood. It's probably understood exactly the way you are conveying it. Have you ever thought about that? He said, what do you mean? I said, one question, just one question I want you to answer. This is 21st century. Do you believe in the concept of 72 virgins?
Yeah.
He fell silent for 10 seconds. And I said, now you know the problem. You are the problem. You can't categorically say that, yes, that is bullshit. That's not true. That's not relevant into 21st century. We know there is no 72 virgins waiting for anyone. Right? It's just a lure, a temptation to beguile the gullible, to seek something which doesn't exist. This is what we have to begin to interact. And since then, things change. People begin to realize things, that Earth is no longer flat. So you have any number of videos you will see that somebody is describing that how the hoor in heaven is so beautiful. And actually the one priest, also one mullah, tells that the women on the planet Earth, they are third rate. The one in the heaven, she is so sublime and so pure. They condemn women on the planet Earth. I'm saying, why not? Why not ask question?
Yes.
Right? And I'm saying that everything has a relevance. If you want to have a surgery, you need to do surgery. That Ayurveda will not help you. But Ayurveda is health maintenance.
Absolutely.
Garbage
Probably
in,
you don't
garbage
go
out.
to the requirement of surgery, doesn't happen often.
Correct. Yeah,
This is from a personal experience.
Even if you are completely Ayurvedic medicine, remember, as we advance in age, there will be decline in various faculties of the body.
Yeah.
And if you need a surgery, if you need certain tubes and testing and some drops in your eyes or whatever, you take it. Absolutely no problem. It is also an advancement. That's what it is.
So,
But
I
we
would
live in
just
a
share
world of
a
instant
personal
satisfaction.
experience, when you're talking about this. I had, this was some 5-6 years back. I had severe hip pain. And then when I went to the doctor, she said that probably you'll have to do a hip replacement surgery. I really got so scared. And it was so painful, so terribly painful. I'm a person who really takes pain very quietly. And I couldn't stand for a single minute. Even while sitting, it was so painful. Then I went to, many of the doctors said this. And then I happened to go to Matunga, where there is a Ayurvedic dispensary. And I had taken the X-ray. They do medicine, and after that they study Ayurveda. So he went through all the X-ray. He saw that X-ray, and then he said, "Madam, even hip replacement surgery in India, there is no 100% guarantee. But I tell you, looking at your condition, you don't need a surgery. For 6 months, I'm giving you medicine. For first month, you will have pain. You will have to bear with it. But I'm telling you, the pain will go, and for permanently, the problem of this hip will go. This is just a matter of time because you're going through a certain cycle. This will pass and it'll be fine. You won't believe, I took it for 6 months. I'm completely all right. It's more than 7 months, not a single problem.
Wow.
Otherwise, I don't know where it would have ended.
Right.
He said very clearly, there is slightly bone deterioration because you are going through this stage in your life. 6 months you take this tonic, then the blood circulation in the bone of that particular area will improve and everything will be all right.
Wonderful.
I just said fine. So there are situations when you can take Ayurvedic, but then if somebody has a heart attack and then you've got to do
Right.
surgery, you can't say, okay, I will take Ayurvedic.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
You can't
Take
do that.
advantage of both. Take advantage
Yes.
of both. What we
There
know.
is an accident and you can't say, okay, he will take Ayurveda and he'll
Correct.
become monk.
Correct.
Yes.
Right.
So there are situations where we have to decide that. Yes,
Our
absolutely.
time is up. Thank you very much. I wanted to
Yes.
say that to everybody who is watching the show today. Thank you.
Thank you so
What I
much.
want to say is begin making inquiries. Get to know
Like she
yourself.
has said, ab chalta hai.
Yeah.
Should never have that. Nipun Saini has said, this is the attitude. Let the police take action. Let the state take action.
हमारा कुछ नहीं है,
Yes.
हमें क्या लेना? That's right.
हम क्या करना है कर
That
सकते हैं, हम
attitude
एकदम
is
क्या कर
there.
सकते हैं.
Because what happened to somebody can happen to you tomorrow.
Exactly.
Right.
Very true.
Right.
Very true. Yes.
Thank you.
Good evening, viewers. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll meet you again next Thursday with a different topic. Thank you.